What is up, y'all? Woo! Season 3 of the Hood Talks podcast, and this is our last episode of the season. Shout out to everybody that has been tapping into the Hood Talks podcast this season. If you are new to us, again, we've in our third season, but we've been doing this since December 2020, and we have done so many shows, y'all. So shout out to everybody that keeps rocking with us here at the Hood Talks podcast. I am so grateful for this, for this opportunity, for this space. I'm glad y'all keep rocking with us and listening to us and tapping in. I'm super excited, y'all, because when it's the end of a season, that means I get to take a break and I get to revamp and think about what we could do different and what we could talk about next season. So, we will be coming back in December, but in between time, we are growing. We are still doing amazing work. You know that the Hood Talks podcast is now powered by the Hood Connect. Yep, that's right. The Hood Connects, a nonprofit organization. We focusing on addressing and reducing the barriers that Black and under-resourced communities encounter. And we're doing it through what? Education, advocacy, and of course, connection. So we're going to be still doing work. I need you to go make sure you following the Hood Connects so you can keep up with what we're doing in between time until the Hood Talks podcast come back. But other than that, what are we talking today, y'all? What are we talking? White people-ish or no? Or no? Is this white people-ish? Is this white people stuff? Health culture, wealth, wellness. We talking all that. How we as Black people need to tap in so we can make sure that we are our best selves. Okay. So I'm super excited for that. But before I get this show kicked off, right? What do I gotta do? I gotta give a shout out to BJC. Woo! Without BJC, we would not have been able to continue doing the season that we've done, the work that we've been doing here at the Hood Talks podcast and expand on it. Shout out to them for sponsoring the Hood Talks podcast this season. It has been a big help to us. And I'm super excited that they, not that they put their stamp of approval on it, but their stamp of support. They supporting what we're doing here, and we appreciate that. All right, y'all. So shout out to them. Just wanted to make sure I give them a shout out, but it don't look like it's working. Oh, that was my fault. What did I do wrong, y'all? What did I do wrong? It's all right. It's okay. It's a delay. I'm going to get that together. Just wait on it. Just hold on. Before I do that, let's go ahead and kick this show off like we do every time. We got to kick the show off. Shout out to all the people that's happening. I appreciate y'all. And here we go.
To your health? What do you deserve? At BJC Healthcare, we believe you deserve care when you need it. You deserve answers and peace of mind. You deserve the best hospitals, the latest treatments, and expert advice. You deserve to know someone is always on your side, to keep doing what you love, and to live your healthiest life. You deserve extraordinary care. Learn more at bjc.org/deserve.
Yes, again, y'all, shout out to BJC for sponsoring it. Us. And did you hear that? You deserve. We deserve. Black people deserve. We deserve it. Yes, we do. Okay. And we're going to advocate for it. Okay. Because we're going to make sure they're going to do what they need to do for us so that we could be healthy, wealthy. You hear that? Wealthy. I'm learning that taking on the word of wealth is a good thing and not a bad thing. But we're going to talk about that today. Shout out to my panel. Do y'all see these beautiful faces here on my screen? Hey, y'all. Hey. Y'all muted. I know. They're like, wait, what happened? Y'all muted. Come off and say hey to the people.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
There we go.
What's going on, Vanna?
Hey, y'all. Look, I'm about lost my voice. Y'all hear me? What what is going on? It's because my body is like, ooh, it's the end of season 3, girl. We have been putting in work since December, so yeah, we need to take a break and talking about health, making sure that I'm okay, right? Mental health, physical health, all that. We won't get into it. We're going to get into it. So I want to give y'all the opportunity to introduce yourselves and tell the people who you are. We'll go one by one. I'll start with you, Miss Latanya. Please tell the folks who you are here.
Hey, good morning or good afternoon on this lovely Saturday. I'm Latanya Neely, originally from Texas, and I am a wellness advocate for my community. I'm also an author, and I just want to inform people that because doctors tell them certain things, you definitely want to pay attention to your body. You know your body better than anyone else. Um, I started this journey years ago with our youngest son. My husband and I, we decided to change our eating habits to make sure he was healthy. And on that journey, I've learned a lot. And I think it is information that needs to be shared, especially for our people, considering that information started with our people. But enough said. Again, I'm Latanya, and I'm looking forward to hearing what the other people have to say, learning, and also sharing.
Well, thank you for joining us. I am super excited for you to bring your knowledge here as well. Shout out to you, also a Ferguson resident. We gotta shout out Ferguson. We gotta shout out Ferguson. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hey, Miss Carmen. Come on, girl. Tell the people who
Good
you are.
morning, Savannah. Good morning, everybody. My name is Carmen Southaw Wamhouse. Hoth. I'm a nurse. I've been a doula in the community. Most people know for over 20 years. I'm also a certified childbirth educator, a certified lactation counselor, and an apprentice and midwife in the community. So just want to make sure mamas know about their pregnancy, prenatally, preconception. We'll start there. Preconception, prenatally, birth, and postpartum. So I'll sit on several committees with Savannah and Latanya, and just all around, just committed to my community that I have lived in St. Louis for getting ready to be 57 years. So just want to make sure keep the community healthy. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us again here on the Hood Talks podcast. I know you was on that doula. No, you weren't on the doula one. You were on We Are Not Enemies. When we're talking about sisterhood and black women. That's the episode you were on, Carmen. So thank you for coming back.
You're welcome. I was supposed to be on the doula one, but of course I got called out to a birth, so and I had to cancel on you. So yes, thank you for having me back.
But you're here. You here. You back. All right, we got some new faces too, though. Shout out to the new faces and the new spaces. Hi, Miss Lola. Come tell us who you are.
Hello. I am Lola Nicole, mother of four, a resident of the community. I'm the owner of Herbalatry, so it's a plant-based alternative for toiletries, your daily toiletries that we use. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Super excited to learn about you. Black owned, and you're talking about herbal toiletries. Okay, come through. We need to be uplifting. Where these spaces at anyway? Because I've been asking people also, like, where the black people that's doing stuff for the basic needs, like brushing my teeth and like all of that, soaps and things like that, lotion. So I'm glad to hear that you are here in the space. So we gonna learn more about you. Shout out to you, and shout out to Miss Drea. Come on, love. Tell the folks who you are.
I'm also a mom of four. I'm a doula in the community. I work with multiple nonprofit organizations in birth work as well as gardening and farming, things of that nature. I'm also a yogi. I have a business called the Herbal Genesis, so I dibble and dabble in herbs as well. More so on the healing side, and also I'm probably about to step into child avocation.
And yes, them detox drinks are on point. So I'm gonna need you to come on back into them and I need to holler at you. So y'all need to holler her as well. Okay. Make sure y'all following these folks as well on social media so y'all can tap into what they're doing. And another new face. Okay. Hello, Miss Dr. Fisher. How are you? Tell the people who you are. Uh-oh. I think you are muted. Let me help you out here. Can you talk for me
Okay.
now?
All
There
right.
you
I think, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I had to look to see that. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I welcome being a part of this awesome group of sisterhood. I'm all about community and sisterhood and about health. I've only been in St. Louis for 42 years. I'm originally from Georgia, mother of four, grandmother of 10. I came to St. Louis to enter dental school in 1975, and here I still am. But in my dental journey, I had a passion and a yearning for nutrition, and I didn't understand why it wasn't taught in the dental schools or the medical schools because the mouth is, of course, the first pathway to digestion. So, I mean, we'll talk into that a little bit. So, I actually began to take a few courses in nutrition, and then later, 2021, I actually got a certification in nutrition and exercise specialist so that we could actually work to heal the body. I've been plant based for 27 years. Uh, about that, yes. So, and I'm all about natural nature, the earth, and us, being humans on this planet, we have a responsibility to take care of ourselves and those around us, no matter what size, shape, they are. And so I am just excited. I don't want to talk too long to be a part of this. I also just finished my military. I was in the reserve, got out 18 years, went back at age 55 or so, and just finished last year. So um, happy to to do that and to provide service and to provide a caring ear, because sometimes people need to be heard and they just need to share, and many times professionals don't listen. So okay, thank you.
You said they don't listen. What you said. What we talked about that a lot on this show. They don't listen. Man. And yes, thank you for your service. Shout out to you. All of the good things that you just dropped. Plant-based, being plant-based. Oh, yes. Sounds great.
Oh,
I'm striving for it. I am definitely not that.
one other thing real quick, I hate to interrupt, but you were talking about there is a company, black owned dentist in St. Louis, who has natural dental products. So
Okay. Okay.
yes, I just wanted to give a shout out about that. And
I
that
was
I
like,
do know
do
other
you know
people
that
with
name?
natural products.
Do you know their names? The
Yes, it's Dr. Quigley's. It's
Okay.
called Dr. Q's Fresh Breath Club.
Okay. Okay. There we
Yeah,
go.
the toothbrushes are all bamboo natural charcoal tooth tablets. Charcoal.
Okay, look at dropping some gems already. Woo. All right, y'all. So this is gonna be a good conversation. And I just want to start with because the title for me, I had to catch some people's attention. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean is that white people? Like, I think overall, when we talk about anything in our culture, in our community, at a point in time, I know right now we're moving into a lot of the natural ways and the natural things, but I think there was a lot of you know flop on, hey, yeah, you trying to do that? That's white people stuff. Like, why you trying to go do yoga? Why you want to try to do meditation? What are you talking about being plant-based? You gotta eat some meat. You need some, your body need meat. So, like, oh, you trying to be vegan? What you trying to be vegan for? That white. So I just wanted to really have a conversation about what are these things that we somehow have deemed white people stuff in our culture for some odd reason that we really do need to be trying to think about tapping into, because it's not that it's white people, it's healthy. It's a healthier option for our people and to help us live long and live our healthier lives. What are some things that y'all think has been put out there as white people ish, and it's like, no, that's not. That's clearly just, we need to stop that. This is not, no. This is what we should be trying to strive for.
I know for me, having salads before dinner, for a long time, people are like, you just need your main course. Just go ahead and eat your meat and potatoes, your cornbread, your macaroni and cheese. You got your sweet potatoes. I mean, they got all the kind of starches. But what happened to the vegetables that help, that food to move around and to nourish your body? And at the same time, when you have a salad with your vegetables, your lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, all that stuff that's supposed to nourish your body and detox at the same time, you won't overeat on your meals, your main course, because we know that nutritional plate is totally different than what we're supposed to have. At home, you got all kind of, you got the big portions of the big steak and the chicken and everything, and then you got a little bitty of the peas or the little bitty of spinach, But that's one of the things that I've learned, that they keep saying, that's not part of the culture. You don't need all of that. And even if you do the salads, what do we do with it?
Dressings and
right.
Adding the meats and the dressings. I know, because I was just about to say, baby,
you can't even see the lettuce.
I could drench some Caesar on some lettuce. Okay. I can definitely do that. I be like, look, it ain't a salad without.
You're like, okay, all I see is dressing and some bacon bits.
I don't even put the bacon bits, but I definitely would drench it in some Caesar. You hear me?
Right.
Or add some chicken to it and be like, okay. I mean, but even that is a meal. Adding chicken to a salad is a meal, though. But on top of that, white people would have a chicken Caesar salad on top of a steak and a baked potato.
Right.
Yeah, we overdo it sometimes.
Right. We do. We overdo it sometimes. I do agree with that. And I saw you come out of mute, Drea. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was just about to talk about the stigma of like teas and like herbs. Like, it's a lot of people that I talk to that don't drink tea. They don't believe drinking in like warm water to like move your bowels, and ginger in the morning time with like a little lime to help out with that. And just knowing that fruit helps with like bloating and all different type of stuff. It's just like, it's so many things that I see out here that they're using where they can just actually be using something natural, like what we supposed to be eating, to help with everything that they're trying to target as far as like weight loss.
No, and that's real, because even me, I'm trying to find that balance of introducing tea into my life, and not, because first of all, I don't like sweet tea. I don't see how people drink sweet tea, but I know that's a black culture right there, but people are ready to take my black card. Like, how you don't like sweet tea? But like, I don't do sweet tea. That's not it. I'll do green tea, like a Lipton green tea, but like drinking tea with honey and what is it? Not honey, but the other one.
Agave.
Yes, agave. Like drinking it, like you said, just in the morning when you wake up, and how, like you said, that could be very much cleansing to your body. And so I'm trying to work better on that. But it has been a struggle for me, because I'm really not, and I haven't found the right tea balance. Shout out to Teatopia though. I've been there a couple of times, but I haven't found out the right tea balance. Yeah. Drinking warm tea, or shout out to you saying ginger, because I remember when I was pregnant, shout out to Latanya, she was getting me hip to that ginger, making just ginger and boiling it and drinking it to help like boost your immune system and help with what was it also help me here, it was when I was pregnant, nausea.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yes, so like,
yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like everything that's on this earth that God put here is for us to use. If we use that on a consistent basis, then there's no reason for us to be dependent on pharmaceutical drugs. Now, if you wait too long to address the issue, then that may be your last resort, is to get that prescription. But even with that, There are different types of foods and herbs and teas that can help you to lessen the dosage and perhaps get off completely. But we have to be proactive and consistent. That's what I tell a lot of my clients. You have to be, you have to start with just the basic information. I know a lot of times, oh, I hear it doesn't taste good. It's like, okay, so you rather spend $100 on one pill? I mean, I rather, taste something bitter that's going to make me feel better than to have to work, 3 or 4 jobs and have to determine, okay, can I pay my telephone bill or pay for this pill that's going to keep me alive?
Yes.
So
And I think that's real. I'm learning. Like a lot of times, people are saying that healthier options are more expensive, but I'm also learning is like they're really not. If you going into like markets and finding, growers themselves,
Research.
doing some research, uplifting again. But I know too, being very intentional, there is a lot of Black farmers and growers in our area in St. Louis, and a lot of herbalists and naturalists in our areas. And again, like people can tap into those spaces so they can learn, even if you can't, figure out how to make it or what you should be using. How can you support or tap into the people that is doing the work around that space? Because there are a lot of y'all. And St. Louis is like, it's so amazing to me that I be finding little gems every now and then. Be like, okay, look at this, look at that. This is out here. And I want to ask this question too about the barriers though. Like, let's talk about we have to acknowledge that there is some barriers to accessing wellness and health, or quality health. Let's say that quality health in our communities, right? So even like Latanya said, at some point you may have just ignored the issue for some reason, or talk about food deserts. We have a lot of those in our spaces as well, right? In our community. So if you are eating some of the same fast foods and your cholesterol is high and things like this is happening to you, what access do we have, or what barriers are we having to address to get to the access to have the quality healthcare that we need to help us get back on track? Because insurance isn't paying for you to go see a herbalist. Insurance ain't paying for you to go, to a spa and get a massage, if that may be something that can help with your, cramps or your bones and your muscle aches. So like I'm saying, like it's really limited to, if you can't afford it, to get access to it. Can we speak to that?
Well, I just wanted to say, first of all, I mean, you're right. We do have a lot of resources in the community, and some of it is just connecting with people, asking questions, and doing some research to find a healthier alternative. Because ultimately, the medications don't ever get you well or past it. They're not designed for that. The pharmaceutical companies don't create them for that reason. And I'll just give you an example. I mean, one of the things that really got me thinking more about nutrition is when a patient came in, with this, and you have to list all your medications on the health history list. And she couldn't list them all. She had to bring all of her pills in a bag. And I asked her, I said, well, are you able to ever get off of those? Has your diabetes gotten better? Has anything gotten better? Or your blood pressure gotten better? And the answer to that was no. And then I just thought, okay, this system, it's not designed to help us. So the resources are there. One of the things that I like, and of course I'm drawing a blank right now, is that the truck that goes around with the fresh fruits and vegetables that are super
Metro
good
Market.
and healthy. Yeah, but they're less expensive than even going to the farmers market to get certain things. So the resources are there. We just have to continue to be this voice to get the word out. I mean, to share with everybody that we know. Look, I know that you're used to, you like the taste of this, but have you tried or have you thought about this? Or what is it that you're feeling. If you're not getting any better, let's perhaps look at trying something different. Just trying something different, and even asking. We still have some health professionals in the St. Louis area who are interested more on helping naturally instead of out of the medication. So we have to have all of these resources, and I know a couple too that that we can maybe share in your podcast, of the resources of people that are actually doing more natural things to help us and to be able to get the access to the care that we need. Because unfortunately, in some of our, I don't even want to call them poor neighborhoods. That's what they call them, but they're not, because we are not a poor people. It's a mindset, and it's a mindset, and so
which also contributes to the lack of, like, I think the mindset of poor and it equals to unhealthy. And I was saying that in a conversation recently, that sometimes when you're talking about healthy and wellness, that is kind of connected to, in our minds, rich and successful. And like, I can't, as in my mind, if I'm a poor person, I shouldn't be trying to reach for a healthy, I shouldn't try to go get mental health, like I can't pay for a therapist, like all of these different, it's like, oh, that's not for me, that I can't do that because I ain't got the money or to do that. So I do think sometimes that it does equal to like our mindset of poor versus and it's the health is connected to being wealthy, and we don't think that we could deserve to have those things. I think that's where we have to change our mindset as some Black people. And I'm not speaking for all Black people, but I was like, some our people in our communities have had that mindset that we don't deserve to be healthy and well, and that's because we don't have the dollar signs, and that's not true. That's the point. But then also, like I said, the barriers, the lack of getting the opportunity to access it is also limited, so it also makes it unreachable.
Savannah,
and just as you're talking about mindset too, it's not all too about the dollar. It's about how we think about mental wellness. I mean, sometimes we think that if we need to go to counseling or therapy or ask somebody for help, then we are less than. And that is definitely not true. That's false. All the way false.
I truly agree with you. Come on, Kwame, you was going to say something?
Yeah, so when you brought around the mindset, I'm glad you and Dr. Fisher brought that around, because it is kind of a mindset in the community. Like when people say, how do you, like, because I'm a baker and a cooker, so I love to cook, right? And so it's like when people say like, oh, I'm gonna go to White Castles, and I'm like, oh, well, you can make them in the kitchen, right? They taste just as good, actually better. They don't give you the intestinal issues that most, the gas burgers give you. And so when people are like, how you know how to do that? Like, it's even certain things from the bread company. Like if you go to Panera, I always say bread company because that's the St. Louis thing. But Panera, you can make that those little quiches that they have. You can make that into like a whole like thing for breakfast. And people be like, how did you learn how to do that? And I'm like, because I got tired of spending money going to get just, one or two, and I can make a whole pan for less money. And so it is the mindset that like, and so what we do sometimes in our house is like, we got a jar and it's like, oh, I want to go out to eat. I'll be like, I can make that. I put money in the jar. And by the end of the month, you look up and you're like, look how much money I didn't save. But I understand that sometimes it is easy when, my kids are grown and not living in my house.
Well, say, baby, it's a little convenient when you kind of walking with
right. I was gonna say.
I'll be over here like, Lord, who's gonna cook?
Like, let's just stop over here. But like, even like when you think about like pizzas, like, right, you can buy pizza dough, fresh pizza dough, Trader Joe's, cheaper, and make your own pizzas and more, and it tastes better, and like, right, and you can add as much or as less as you want, especially with having kids. But it's that mindset that like, well, let me just go get this. But I try to like explain to, especially since I deal with a lot of young moms, I try to explain to them like, listen, save that money going to do this, but buy this, right? And you can make a whole meal.
saving money is like has been deemed as a white person. Like black people, like I'm not trying to save no money.
That's true.
I used to hear a lot of black people say, "Why I'm gonna save it? I ain't gonna be here." It ain't for you though. That's the whole concept. It's like
that's true, and making sure you got that
here, but that money needs to still be here for what about your children,
for your family,
generations. I heard a lot of people that say, like, "Why I'm gonna go put money in the bank? I ain't gonna be here to spend it. I'm gonna die one day, and the money ain't gonna go with you, but like you still should save it." But
right.
In case of an emergency or anything.
I mean, but I think that's why we in our community, we like just spend and spend and spend, and then we're like, we turn around and we're like, we don't have access or we don't have anything, but it's because, like you said, we're not taking time back to sit and say, what can I do differently? What can I change? And being open to that change. That's the conversation. And that's what I want to take away from this space, is just be open-minded to the change. Yes, it might not be something that you're used to. Yes, it may not have been something that you've done before, but if this is something that could help you, why not at least try and see, what do you lose out on? If it is, like you said, simple as, right, drinking ginger tea every morning. That's something simple. Start there. If that will help. Or like you said, researching, going out and finding a herbalist, finding out about herbs and finding out about, mental health and all these different things. Like, I just want wealth. What does that look like? How can you just save? Even if you're saving, I used to save coins. Do you hear me? Coins add up. If you just throw your coins away, like, how can we just start doing things that can make, even if it's something small and simple, that can make changes that will grow into greater changes and help somehow change our lives? And not to say that these things, it will happen overnight, right? Because this stuff, I think LaTanya said it, you have to be consistent with a lot of these things. And it happens. I think we look for some quick fixes, and a lot of times it's not happening.
And that's true. I mean, like when I wrote my book a couple of years ago, and it was I was pressured to do it because I had a health issue. And when I shared it with a couple of girlfriends, they're like, "Oh my God, LaTanya, you need to let everybody know how you were able to heal your body." And I was like, well, it's kind of personal. But again, that back to what, Dr. Fisher was saying, when you connect with other people, they share information. That's how other people learn, because we're all ignorant to something. And that's not a negative or a dig or anything. I mean, we don't know everything.
We don't know everything. Yes.
So, but, reaching out to other people and asking questions, because to be honest, I actually talked to a former neighbor who was a registered nurse, and I was telling her about my health issue. And she was like, "Oh, have that surgery. And I was like, "But I don't want to, because it's going to prevent me or hinder me from having another baby." And so she was like, well, basically it was like she didn't want to hear it. So my husband and I, we did the research, we read books, we did YouTube University, and came up with some really cool concepts. And it goes back to.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what I've learned too, just by being younger and like being, raising like children and being young, a lot of us don't know, or a lot of us didn't know where to start as far as one, resources. And you got to think about too, when we get raised in our community, our parents are like at work, so they cannot 360 like tell us every single thing as far as guidance, as far as money, wealth, health, and all that, because majority of the time they don't even know. So you got to think about in these communities with Caucasians, they get a lot more direction from their parents and their forward people and things of that nature, because they're able to do it. So it's another, I guess, nonprofit that I know about. And I was going through training to be a doula with her. And she told me, and she told all of us, if it's not a resource for your client or for yourself, you can start calling around some of these business as far as well or wealthier established business with Caucasians, and start asking them for resources. What can you do to help us? What type of pro bono work can you help provide in our community to help people? So I really think that it should be something like it's a person that transfer information or somebody that advocates. And I don't know if you guys know where I'm going with it, but
No,
yeah.
I feel what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like we do have a generation, and me and you, Drea, we probably around the same age, right? I'm 34, so we have a generation. I feel like there was a disconnect because
Yes.
I'm with you. My generation, I wasn't taught about like health and how to eat healthier, and and I'm not shaming my mama or whatever, but I'm just saying like it wasn't instilled. Like to this day, I still struggle because I don't know how to cook like a zucchini, not a zucchini. What is it?
That's
An
true.
eggplant. I don't know how to cook an eggplant. I ain't never seen an eggplant until I was an adult. You know what I mean? I never
Right.
had an eggplant because I tried it myself as an adult. So I don't know how to cook it in my household. Yes, people say like you should ask people, and you're right, we should. But I also think that it's a difference. Some people ain't taught like you could go pull up a
Yes.
recipe and try it, but I'm more hands on. I would love to go to a cooking class and be like, teach me how you cook. Show me how you do it. It's one thing, and that's why I think
Yep.
everything doesn't fit for everybody. So we do
Right.
have to have. And that's why I say the way we access and the options for it, we do need to think how we are redoing things. You can't give everybody a recipe and say go to the kitchen and cook it, because hey, it ain't gonna work that way for me. I need somebody to help guide me in the kitchen of like, am I cutting this right? I'm more of a hands-on than a visual. So I just think, yes, there is things out here. Yes, people do, but talking about time-wise too, right? Talking about raising families and things like that, and how we are working, how we are even working for little pay versus how they are, our counterparts.
And those are facts. Those are
So
facts. So you think about again, I'm generation X, so I'm in my 50s, and I think about the Reagan administration, how things were back in the 80s and things like that, and it was still like, I'm gonna go even deeper. Our DNA is totally different than any other race on this planet. I mean, we have a special DNA for sure. And the fact that we were brought here to a whole nother country, and was forced to eat certain things that was not nutritional, we have to understand that there was a modification, there was things that was going on, unfortunately, with the high blood pressure, cholesterol levels and things like that. It morphed into possibly part of our new generation, even if we don't consume certain things. So it's like we almost have to do double the work, just like in anything else, to make sure that our body is healthier. And I totally agree. I learned most of my stuff from my aunties and my grandmother and stuff like that, because my mom was working outside the home. I was a latchkey kid. And it took my husband to teach me how to cook breakfast, which is so funny. So he did not marry me for my cooking. So anyway, but right.
So, Latanya,
Yes.
Latanya, you're right. Like when we think back historically, it is like, and kind of almost like now, right? Like we ate those things because it had to be survival. And now it's a whole group of kids who are right there because of certain things in certain neighborhoods. It's survival again. That again is changing how, you know what I'm saying? And when you think about it, it changes like, and people don't like when you talk to people about like, if you had to live in a certain neighborhood and you hear gunshots every night, you can't sleep in your bed. You got to put your mattress on the floor. Like that would be foreign to me where I live, right? But I know that there are communities who they live like that, right? And it's not right, but it makes somebody different. Like we have to talk about, just shout this little boy out from Yateman who walked to his graduation at Harris-Stowe. When I tell you, when I heard that story and then I seen him on the news talking, and the one question they asked when the president of Harris-Stowe gave him a full ride, they said, do you know what that means? He said, they're going to give me a ride to school. But in my mind, I was like, there was nobody in this little boy's neighborhood here. He'd been my neighbor. He could have came and rang my doorbell and said, hey, can you give me a ride to my graduation? I would have been more than happy to take him to his graduation and sit there and yell for him.
that goes back to the mindset, because I'm even like, our neighborhoods ain't the same, right?
Right.
Yes, I'm
I'm
with
not.
you. In my neighborhood, back even in when I was a kid, I knew my neighbors down the street, and I knew the kids, and I can go down the street and play with my neighbors. Now I'm a little nervous. Like, I don't even let my baby go across the street if I'm not there, because again, our communities have shifted, and I think this goes back to still the conversation of health and wealth, because we don't have the village to help us in the work to be in the space of health and wealth. Like, we are literally falling apart, and we're like one on one. So everything has become our problems versus it being a community problem. It's like, oh, your kids not eating healthy, that's your problem. That ain't my problem. And if you, so I just think it is a different
But
time.
it will become their problem eventually,
I
because
agree.
again, if they are ill, if they are sick, or if they are needing a safe place to live, we must admit it turns to crime.
I
So
agree.
eventually it's going to affect you. So if you're not caring for your brother and your sister, your other the neighbor's kids or whoever, and you're looking down at them, it's going to eventually catch up with you. And we
It,
see it right now.
Yeah.
and we see
So
it with the
stop being selfish.
Start with self.
yes, she says stop being selfish. And I think this goes across the board too, though. And I go back to what Drea was saying though too, like reaching out to some of these spaces who might not be traditional, right? Like, you got access to it. How can you what do I say? How do you um connect us to the access that you have?
Listen, I'm gonna give you an example.
Go
So
ahead.
I was on EBT for like a long, long time, and I didn't have the money to pay for classes for my kids with Coca, and you know, put them in art places that
All right.
that we don't do. They'll give you a scholarship for being on food stamps.
You just dropped the resource because I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, my when I go places and it's something that's gonna benefit my children, or my children is somewhere that can make their establishment look better, I'm gonna always negotiate, because this is my prized possession that you want, or I know this is gonna make my child better. So we gonna negotiate how we gonna get this done. That's the type of parent and person I am.
And being open to letting your kids go into those spaces. That part. Like, how do we be? I'm with you. Like, I don't
What
swim, but I'm trying to get I'm swimming lessons, gymnastics. Like, I never did that stuff, but like, how can I open? But I also know they're expensive. So, like you said, how can you tap into the resources that's available to let your kids in there? And I say, you come on, Dr. Fisher.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, because everything that you're all say is definitely on point. But now that we know our communities are different than when we grew up, just like I grew up, knowing everybody could, every adult had the right to, to scold me to do
Cool.
whatever that needed to be done to make sure I was in line. But how do we get the list of resources out? I know there's one sister, um, Tracy McGuirter, Any Greens Necessary. She's a sister, and she's been plant based, and she does all of these cooking classes. A lot of them are on Zoom for free, and she actually put out a list of Black professionals, like doctors and things like that. And I think we need to be able to get somehow to collaborate with other groups, get all of the resources so that we can get them to the communities, even if it means we have to go door to door, you know. And I know it's challenging in these times going to doors that are people that we don't know, or maybe in the schools, maybe we could do them through the school nurses and have them, go home with the parents and things like that. But we've got to be able to get out of that, because in our communities, it's true. We don't have we don't have the options. I mean, the food is not good. It's stale most of the time. It's out of date, and it's unhealthy. But those are the things that they can afford to do, so they continue. They continue to do that. So
Yeah, because I mean, or even where's the grocery store? Like, either we have corner stores that's selling fried chicken in the back, or you have to walk 2-3 miles to get to a grocery store. And when you get
right.
there, the groceries ain't even, like I said, they're not fresh, they're old,
They're
they're
not
stale.
fresh.
So why am I gonna go get some fresh vegetables when it's probably easier for me to get a bag of chips that's gonna last
Right.
longer in a pop of soda, because that's what they got in your face when you walk through the front of the door anyway,
Right.
right? That's what they showing you
That's
when you
true.
walk in our neighborhoods and in
Right.
communities. So what
Yes.
is it easy to do? It's easy to go to the liquor store that's selling the chicken and have it already fried up, and then you just take it home and you feed your kids, and you just to sit down and relax because you worked all day, or you're just tired and you're exhausted from the day to day. Because you don't have breaks. But I get, and whew, I think it's so much to unpack in this conversation that I swear we're not gonna do it in an hour, y'all. Because it is so much that I think transpires in the space of, we are trying to get there. There is a lot of, I'm with you, there's so many resources, and it's just that we don't know about them. And that's
True.
why I created this space, is how do we uplift them? How do we get people to tap in? How do we find ways to collaborate to get this to the masses versus it just getting to one group of people? And being open-minded to meet people where they are. That's, I think, what is really the focus that needs to be driven, is like, how can we make sure that this stuff is available to everybody and getting people to tap into them?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing, Savannah, years ago when my boys were in grammar school, I taught to teachers. And again, my journey started with our sons, and just recognizing that even in the schools, how the food is unhealthy. So I always feel like if we start with them, with the babies, because the babies will be like, mom, dad, or grandma, whoever is raising them, it's like, I tried this and I really like it, or even just giving them the skills to, and I think we talked about this before, having classes to show the babies how to prepare easy meals, easy snacks, so they won't have the desire to eat the chips.
Right.
And at this point, I can't even afford to have chips for during the summer or for Super Bowl, because they're like $6 a bag now.
Man.
So it's like, no, we're not even having that. But just teaching them how to have those healthy snacks, and giving them a chance to say, wow, this tastes good. Because even like when we had the little garden tour at our house, and the babies would get the blackberries and the strawberries from my backyard, they were like, oh my God, this is so good. It doesn't taste anything like the grocery store, just fresh. And teaching them, hey, that this can give you muscles, this can make you so engage with the kids, talk to them when they're younger. And with that, the children will influence the parents. Unfortunately, it seems backwards, but
The children are the students. I mean, the
exactly.
teachers. The children are
Yeah.
the teachers. That's what they say. I agree with what. I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Oh,
go
my
ahead.
I agree with what Dr. Fisher said about how do we get the resources out. Like, we might do have to go like door to door, because I just found out recently about, it's a farm in Ferguson, and I didn't know that it was a farm in Ferguson, but it's called Organic Dance. I mean, it's called
Earth Dance. Earth
Organic,
Dance.
and they do like pay what you can when you come up
They
there.
do.
So pay what you can and get some fresh vegetables or whatever it is that you're looking for. So yeah, I agree. We do need to be out and more active. We trying with social media. I guess I don't know if we like get lost in the social media world, but in person, we don't have to start doing stuff in person.
I think we get lost in social media because social media has become where I have to prove a point, even with business. Like, I'm so frustrated with social media because it's like I have to be here 100% all the time for you, in order for people to be like, okay, she's still doing, she's still relevant, and that's frustrating because what I want to be is in the community,
right?
Where the real change needs to happen. I think a lot of this is for say on social media, and people are just saying stuff like, and you're trying to keep up with everyone and what they're doing, and that's, I think, as our culture, we need to shift too. We shouldn't have to prove every day, all day, that on social media that we about or doing the work. The work needs to be done
Regardless.
out here, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Clearly, it's not being done because look at our
Right.
communities. We need to, and for me, I'm big on. We talk about politics and being in committee, being on commissions and boards and all that as white people stuff, and being in the political world and changing policies. That's white people stuff, and I'm big on this. Black people need to dive in that world, because if we're talking about what you said, like Latanya talking about the school food, I agree. I get so frustrated seeing a big old sweet pastry for breakfast that my baby, and even if I feed her at home, of course she gonna go there and eat it, even if I don't feed her, and I'll be like, man, don't go eat that. So it's like, if I'm gonna feed you at home, I know you're gonna eat it. What do I do? Not feed you at home, because or give you a protein to kind of act what you finna go eat at that school, which is sugary. But if we're not at the school boards, if we're not on the board or on the school boards ourselves, if we're not up there advocating about how our kids need access to healthy foods, they're not going to deliver it. So I feel like we have to take some heat in this as Black people as well, to help make sure that we're getting access to health and wellness and wealth as well. And it's going to take for us to get in these spaces. And that's my biggest thing, is like, that is not white people stuff. That's stuff that we need to be included in, and making sure that the changes are happening for our communities. Because if you go to Ladue and you go to Clayton, baby, don't what they doing with the CT out there in them schools out there, baby, they up at them meetings telling them people they don't want that in their schools. We should have the same energy when we're talking about the schools in our neighborhoods. And I think that's another mindset that we need to shift as Black people in our culture.
That's true. Because that be up on the board. My name is Susan and my son is Johnny, and I'm not happy.
Right. Yes, I feel like your guys are taking away my rights. They will be on the council meetings every baby. They gonna faithfully tell what y'all, as y'all work for them, they're elected officials. You work for them as they work for us, and we need to be making sure that we part of. Hey, we not happy. We're not healthy. We all need to do something, and we need to hold them accountable.
So Savannah. Yes. This is why, like, it's important. Like, we saying that, like, right, and it is true that some of our communities aren't healthy, but there are so many. It is a shift in the generations, and I know, like, y'all know, me and Latanya, we in a certain age group, but then we see Lola and Drea coming behind us and their kids, and so that's what the shift is coming. It just seems like, man, we are like spinning our wheels, but trust me, it's got some traction, because
it's happening,
right.
And you even think about Carmen, I agree with you, because even like now with the whole Tabitha Brown, you know, the fact that she is like, and it's Savannah, that whole social media, she is on it every day.
She is.
I'm like, she's gonna be relevant forever.
Right.
But yeah, even the fact that she brought it to our attention that we definitely need to change the way we eat, and how food actually help her heal her body. And she looks so much healthier. But again, you know, the information is out there, but what are your intentions? Are you actually willing to make a change? Because if you do make those changes, you will have a better health, and you will become wealthier, because that means that you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to see a doctor. You, even when you have a better way of eating, your clarity is better. And the way you communicate with people is better. You're not willing to engage in foolishness, because you're like, my body feels good, my mind is clear. You're not gonna mess up my space or my spirit. You can go on with that.
Right.
So all of that comes together.
And so I feel like it is a shift coming for, like, we looking at it from a lens of, you know, a 30, 40, 50-year-old, you know, that age range. But there's so many younger kids and families who are doing things that are like, oh, wow, like, you know, growing. And even if you never know who's looking at you, like, right, just somebody come across your podcast one time and be like, oh, let me go back and read this again, like, right, and just, it might be one little thing that somebody hears or learns from any of us, right, when we feel like that we're not doing the work that is actually making a difference. And so that's what I try. Like, I be telling folks all the time, like, oh, look at this. Like, I know somebody who, she's like, that's organic. I eat organic. And one of the things she had, I said, turn that label over. Look at all them chemicals in there, but it say organic. And she was just like, oh my goodness, right?
You gotta read because they'll trick you. Yes.
They
Right.
will.
They will trick you. You have to really, I mean, I think going back to school, and I know like for me, I had a homemade class. We did cooking, they did the basic of like sewing and things like that. I don't know if you still have those type of classes.
Bring back home economics.
I was
They do
like,
not.
we
They
even
do not.
had the one where you had to take the baby home with you. So
They need to bring that back.
but like I don't know if they have those. And so
In some schools do not. But I think they need to call it life skills and not home ec, because then boys be like, I'm not taking that class.
Right.
Let's call it life skills.
That's a cultural thing that we need to shift about boys and girls in our community. About boys should know how to cook and do things around the home and house.
Yes.
I think
Right.
we need to throw that in the trash, because in nature and nurture their children. Like men should know how to take care of their kids, and they should be able to cook at home too.
Exactly.
I mean, thinking about shout out to my heart go out to him, DC Youngfly. How he just lost his the children of his the mother of the children's mother and his lifetime partner, I believe. And she's a woman, and so he's still a young guy who has now 3 kids by himself. And we also know Black maternal health, right? Black women were dying in childbirth. So who's leaving? That's leaving the man to take care of the children. So I do think that we need to also make sure that our kids, our men, our boys know how to, eat healthy as well, know how to fend for themselves and cook for themselves as well. Like that shouldn't just be something that we're teaching the girls.
Yeah, that's basic survival skills.
Basic survival skills that we all need to know.
Yeah.
And beyond just, I still have not done that though. Fishing. Like, how do you go? Like some of that type of stuff.
You just gotta try, get out there and do it.
You're not in nature and being in the nature. I'm trying to do different, because I used to always say that I'm not an outside person, so I'm not perfect. I'm never out here preaching on perfectness. I'm out here preaching on just like being open to different things and having those experiences.
Right.
It looks like we are losing, folks. Latanya, I don't know what happened. I'll wait. And I think we lost Drea, but that's okay. Hopefully she joined back in. But if not, I just want to ask you all, what do y'all think we can uplift in our communities that we should be, kind of tapping into? Any advice you think you guys can provide to give to people who are trying to do things differently, be more healthy, be more get more into wellness, taking care of themselves, and even wealth. What can we do?
I say get back out in nature. Get back outside. I feel like we're trapping ourselves on these phones and these tablets, even the kids and TV. We need to get back out in nature. It really does heal the body. I feel like it really does. Like I'm starting to change my daily habits. So when I wake up in the morning, instead of, have you roll over and get on the phone and look, I instantly get up. I'm trying to get up before my kids and make my tea, go outside, sit on the porch, and just soak it all in. It's relaxing. It relaxes you. It heals you. Like
I like that idea. And writing, journaling. I'm
I like writing too. Journaling, get it all out. Like it's just a form of releasing. It's a form of releasing and just helping you feel better. It just makes you feel better. I feel better when I do that, especially if I'm just irritated. Like just instantly when I go outside, I feel much better. It makes me feel better. Yoga. Some people think that's white people stuff, but stretching the body, moving that energy around, that's all you're doing is moving your energy around. It's good for you. I feel that we should tap.
And it's helping you to breathe, which is also a part of meditation, and calming your mind and your spirit. And that's like, what you said, getting up early in the morning, going outside. I mean, I've been doing that even though I don't have young children anymore, but kind of set my intentions for the day to, to do some prayer, some movement, and some meditation, listening to something positive that's empowering, learning something, whether it's reading a book or listening to a podcast. Those are, things that everybody can do, regardless of what
Yeah,
their income or social status is. Something that
definitely reading
everybody can
more.
do.
Reading is not white people. White people, we need to
No,
read more. But
But
yeah,
I'm glad you touched on that though too, because I think, and I think that's what's happening for our communities as well. A lot of times we're not able to release, and I've even noticed for myself personally, if I'm not consistent with something, I get overwhelmed. Like you said, journaling. I just recently restarted my grateful journal, where I just, and it's so simple. Like I write a word or something that a phrase and I'm grateful for. Like this morning, it was courage. I'm grateful that I have the courage, and I said, what does that mean for me? That means I have the courage to do something different, and I'm trying new things. So it's just like we have to, like you said, just release a lot of what we have, especially because we are in some toxicity in our communities with trauma, racism. It's a hot climate, okay? It's real. So all these things that we're enduring, like you said, we don't have we're not utilizing the spaces that we do have, which are so simple to release some of those things, and we're just it's building us up. And I think that's why we have so many people that's popping off, so much of the youth that's fighting in schools, and people shooting, and guns are out of control. So I just think, like you right, how can we take some of these simple things that, like Latanya said, was given to us by God, whoever you believe your God is, the sun, outside, the plants, the herbs, things like that can help us relieve some of that stress of every day. Meditation, yoga, clearing your mind, music. I think music can be very therapeutic as well. And there's many ways to do yoga. There's many ways to do meditation. A lot of people don't even know that you don't have to sit in your meditation. Like I used to wash dishes, and that was my form of meditating. Like my hands were moving, but my mind was clear. It's a form of meditation. So walking. I know a lot of people say walking for them has been helpful. And just thinking of, like I said, beyond just art therapy, which I'm trying to find some. If you out there and you do art therapy, come holler at your girl, because I want to have you on the podcast. Because I've heard of that as a form of therapy, and that a lot of people love that. Being creative. Black people, we are the most creative people, period.
yes, we are.
We are so creative, and I don't think we get to tap into our creativity enough, especially our children. Oh my God. Man, so like, how can we? That ain't white people ish.
It's not.
it's not.
White people, if you want to go roll up a canvas and paint, go paint. Let them babies paint. Like, let your creativity flow.
It's humanish, but also I think we have to really too. Sometimes all of the other external things are good too, but sometimes we hold things in ourselves because we feel not enough or ashamed. At least if we could find one person that we could talk to about anything that comes out, no judgment zone, that whether it be a girlfriend, a male, a spouse, somebody to be able to let it go. Let it go. And even screaming, I mean, there's even some meditations and breathing around screaming.
Yes.
Screaming into just letting it out,
Let it out.
I know there's been plenty of times where I done had to call Corman or Lola just to, de-escalate a lot of things for me in my life,
Let it out.
Yes. I've heard of this thing, which somebody was telling me about. I cannot remember who it was. So shout out to you, whoever put this in my head, and I'm still looking for it. That they went to a space where they actually had the opportunity to throw glass. Like it was to just throw glass. And I was like, oh my God, I bet that is so lit. I want to do that. I just want to go somewhere.
That's a place in St. Louis that does that. I forgot it's called Smashing Stuff. Yeah.
I heard about that. I heard about water therapy or hydro water therapy or something where like they're sitting in ponds and they're like, I'm like, people have been dropping some gems to me, and I'm like, I need to tap in and find these spaces, because I'm with you. Like, getting so much stuff out here, but how to like tapping in and being open minded to just try it and keep trying it. Because I know at one point massages wasn't my thing. I didn't like it. It hurted me. But when I talked to somebody, that was like, you need a lymphatic massage. And when she did it, I was like, baby, this is life changing. Okay, so all right, I figured out how this works. Okay, and so it's like being open to keep trying it. I think
Right.
sometimes we try something, be like, "Oh, that didn't work for me." Try it again. Try
Right.
another. I'm going back to therapy and mental health. Like, hey, one therapist might not work. Try another. One
Right.
form of therapy might not work. There's music therapy out here as well.
You
Try.
gotta find the right stuff for you.
Find what's for you. I don't care what people say. I think that's what we
Right.
not worried about. What other people gonna say about us.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care what people say. If this works for you, that's you stuff. That ain't
That's
baby.
you.
Exactly.
That's what you need to make sure that you're healthy. And you deserve it. We deserve it.
Yeah.
But one of those cartoon
Healing, it
characters
takes
say,
some.
Oh,
nobody
okay.
is truer than you, so you have to be you,
Yeah.
true to yourself.
Be true to
True to
yourself.
you.
What you was gonna say, Latanya?
No, again, I don't know what's going on with my internet, but anyway, no, healing is different for everybody.
It is.
Especially, it depends on what type of healing you need, what your trauma is, or just it's that's why it's so many different ways of healing, because everybody needs to figure out what works for them, just like you
Right.
said. And we're all individuals, you know. I mean, we're all Black women, but there's different shades of tones, red colors. I think about the lipsticks. It's like, oh, I love your red lipstick, but does it have an orange undertone? Does it have like a blue tone? I mean, we're all different.
Yeah.
That is real. Anybody else got any advice or suggestions for anyone that's like on the path of like, I want to be healthier, I want to be well, I'm striving for wealth, any of that? Please share.
Just accept all parts of you during your healing journey.
And listen to yourself. Like some people be knowing what they need, but
Yeah.
we be like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Listen to yourself. Only you can tell you for real. You can tell
And be
yourself.
honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself.
Be
Trust.
honest with
I'm
yourself.
working on this one.
Yes.
I'm working on this personally, y'all. Trusting myself.
Trust. Listen to yourself. Trust yourself. Be true to you. Yes.
Be true to you.
Yes.
Now, see, Lola, that was, I mean, it was simple yet deep.
So
Be
deep.
true to yourself, because how you expect anybody else to be honest to you?
Right.
You get all mad when people lying to you, but you lying to yourself.
But you lying to yourself. Yes. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
That is.
Don't be mad. Be mad at yourself.
But I also know that healing is health. Healing is real health. Because I mean, in my healing journey, I've learned that I've become a better or healthier me by healing. Because that opened me up to, like I said, those different experiences and opportunities. When you're not healing, your trauma is what's actually making you move. And to say it's not going to be over. We say this. I think we've said this so many times on the show. If you've been a listener forever, you probably keep hearing this. But it's not. Healing is not an overnight journey. It definitely takes time. You'll have triggers. But at the end of the day, like she said, just keep going. Stay true to yourself and be honest with yourself and trust yourself. You got this. We as Black people, we are so resilient. We're so beautiful. And it's just, I know that, I think for me, it's like when I see Black people doing stuff, I take it more personal because I'm like, we could do better. I know we could do better. But I also know what we're up against. So I hope someone takes from this some gems about doing what you need to do for yourself and making sure that you're healthy, and not deeming it as, again, white people stuff, white people-ish. Being open to connecting with other people outside of your comfort zone. Get away from it. Sometimes you gotta get away from your usual folks too, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta get away from your usual crowd.
Try something new. Experience. Life is about experiencing. This is the school of life. Go out there.
And that was a good point too, Shavannah, because I was gonna say the same thing. It's like sometimes the hurt comes within our close surroundings.
Yes.
And because they're around us so much, we just accept it. So when we go out in the real world, we accept more of that foolishness because that's all we know.
That's all we know. It becomes a norm.
Yeah.
It becomes a
So
norm.
when that person's like, oh, I'm not going to give you a raise, even though you've been working 60 hours a week and you've been doing Susie's job and Kelly's job, and it's like, oh, okay. But if you have someone who supports you and they want things to go right for you and they love you, they're going to pour into you and give you positive words and encouragement. And so no one could come to you and disrespect you. You're like, no, that's not right. You know, I don't have to accept that.
Right.
But when that's all you know and you're constantly surrounded by that and your own people tell you, I do it for your good. You're like, but it hurts.
Yeah.
And there's nothing good coming from it except me being depressed and sad.
Yeah. No, that's
From your
real.
own people.
From
Yeah.
your own people. And it's okay to cut people off.
Exactly.
Be okay with cutting people off.
Yes.
I say find your tribe and thrive.
I like that.
Yes.
Find your tribe and thrive.
Yes. 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 Anything else, y'all? Anything else y'all think is important that we need to acknowledge here in this space?
Just encourage your brothers and sisters. Like you said, you know, I know we see people, they do a lot of foolishness, and you know, unfortunately we can't correct them in love because the mindset of people. But when you see people doing good, you know, go up and say, you know what, kudos to you. I'm proud of you. Keep it going. You know, I mean, you probably can't support everybody financially, but just the word of encouragement and share the information. You know, stop holding on to stuff. Why are you holding on to it and you're not going to use it?
And we wonder why communities don't know about stuff. It's because we're not sharing it.
You're not sharing it.
We're sharing the worst stuff, and that's the problem.
Gatekeeping.
Yeah.
It's true. Or gatekeep. Don't, girl, look. Oh, Lord. We going for all the conversation. Now, that's white people issue. Black people need to stop doing it. White people need to stop doing it, too. We don't need to gatekeep anything, okay?
No, we don't.
We already struggling out here as black people. We don't need to gatekeep. Like, you know, it's enough for all of us.
It really is.
White people need to get that too. I think what you said, Latanya, earlier is that if we're not thriving as a community, if black people ain't thriving over here on this good old earth with y'all not gonna thrive either. Okay, we gotta go on and let go of y'all white fragility.
Well, hey, Juneteenth about to come up. You know, I'm a history buff, so you know they like, hey, we need to keep them in the dark because this cotton field needs to be Juneteenth. 2 years, really? Y'all held that information from the slaves in Texas because y'all wanted to make sure your cotton and everything was picked. Your crops were, yeah.
I know.
So,
but I'm saying though, like it goes back to that. If everyone isn't thriving in this space, right? If we're not all thriving, no one wins. No one is going to thrive. So we need to just make sure that everybody has it's been put on this earth to have everything that we need. Like you said, if you go back to that, it's been provided.
The earth is abundant.
It is abundant. It is in the form of keep creating it. So shout out to, again, those farmers, black farmers and people in that space that's growing, you know, because if we didn't have those growers and farmers, we wouldn't have the food and the herbs and things like that. So shout out to y'all who are out there doing that. Shout out to everybody that's doing the work to make sure, again, that our communities are well. I heard you say, and this is, I swear, like the universe is talking to me. I was just at a meeting, the lady was talking about oral health and how important that is, and how we were talking about how we need to make sure that you know, Medicaid expands on providing, you know, dental checkups and things like that. So now here you're saying the same about how the oral and the mouth can impact your wellness and your body.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just like twofold now. Like that's another focus to like how can we get people connected to that resource. So shout out to you, Dr. Fisher, because I think, like I said, I'm hearing and be like, okay, I heard this again. This is really important. So I think we don't, and we're not talking about it enough. We're not talking about how our health impacts us, period. So how can we do better and really make sure that people have the information as well?
Hey,
So
Shavana, are you going to share their website or information?
So what I'm going to
Because
ask you all to do is tell people who your website, your information, as well as that, because I have not been able to yet. I
okay,
can post it, or you can post it in the chat, the comments. That's what I'm hoping. And I'm going to say this, and we're going to end, and then I'm gonna let y'all do introduce your tell people how to tap into you all. Shout out to season 3, y'all. We have grown so much on the Hood Talks podcast. Now becoming a nonprofit entity. I have been doing this consistently now, and I'm just like since 2020. I know what this could do. I feel like I've laid this foundation, but I know we can do better and we can do bigger. And I need help. I do. I cannot do this community podcast alone. So we are growing. We are looking for people to help. We are looking for volunteers. We're looking for people to join our nonprofit committee. The Hood Talks podcast is one of the programs that we will keep pushing out under the nonprofit. And so we want to keep making sure that we driving this force. We want to, like you said, where the people go to find the resources. That's what the Hood Talks podcast is trying to be. We want people to tap in and be like, I need to know about this. I need to know about that. We want to share those resources and be able to provide that information so people can tap in, even if we can, refer them. So that's what we're trying to do here. That's what I'm building. And I cannot, again, do this alone. So we are looking for folks. www.thehoodconnect.org is where you can find out more. It's on the screen. You can also reach out to your girl here on social media if you follow us, and let me know if you're interested. Again, we have several committees that we are recently right now recruiting for, and as well volunteers. I'm looking for a videographer for next year to help me. I want to do more live in person events so we can really make this a bigger thing. So I need people to help me with that. Okay, so I'm putting that out there in the universe. So when we come back, season 4, we come back what's bigger and stronger, and keep doing this work and keep pushing on what we built here. So I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited for this break.
That's right, Vanna.
Yes. I am pushing this break from doing the shows. Give me more time. Me and my shout out to the board. Shout out to the Hood Connect board. It's going to give us more time to really plan on how we can make that happen before next season comes. And that's what we're working on actively. So me taking a break from doing the shows help free up my time. Shout out to y'all who keeps tapping in. Again, go follow the Hood Connect on social media, as well as keep tapping into the Hood Talks podcast. But stay tuned, y'all. I'm putting it out in the universe. It's gonna be bigger and it's gonna be better. We're gonna be in person. We're gonna have some more dope events. Kicking it for a cause. Y'all need to tap into Kicking it for a cause. We actually have an event coming up where we're talking about growers in St. Louis. We're gonna bring that conversation back. Latanya, you remember the last one, right? Yeah, we're gonna bring that conversation back.
Yes, it was nice.
Yes, so tap in. It's so much that we be doing, y'all, and I think I'm bad at promoting it, but it's because I like doing the work and having fun. But I'm telling y'all here, tap in. Make sure y'all follow us on social media if you're listening to us on the podcast platforms. And on that, I'm gonna let y'all not introduce. I'm gonna let y'all tell people where they can tap into y'all if y'all want to share. So, like, if you want to say your social media or anything like that, your website, definitely go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go with you, Lola. You go first.
Again, I'm the owner of Herbatries for your plant-based alternatives for your daily toiletries. I got oral care, hair care, skin care, herbs, and you can reach that at herbatries.com. So HERBALTRIES.com. And thank you for having me, the Hood Talks.
Thank you for being here. I'm glad to hear about your business, and so I look forward to supporting you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Come on, Miss Dr. Fisher.
Okay. Well, I'm Dr. Fisher, dentist, nutrition. I actually have a resource. I partnered with the mental wellness company on nutritional products, plant-based, natural, organic that support the gut and the brain connection, which we lost. We initially had that and we lost it, and so nutrition is a key component to health, and oral health is a key component to health. So the two work together because without good oral health, we can't really get good nutrition if we don't have the teeth to support it. You can find me on healthiernewyou.org. That's HealthierNEWYOU.org. And actually, you can sign up for free. I send out tips weekly on just various health things like going out in the sun, decreasing screen time, certain things to eat. So, and it's free if you just give us your name. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate all of you and your comments and the work that we have ahead. We're ready for it.
Yes.
Yes, we are ready for it. Yes, I love, and one thing I love about is having the different generations. I love this aspect of the Hood Talks podcast as well. I love it. I just love it. So, shout out to you all for being here and being in the space. Come on, Latanya, tell the people how
Oh,
they.
okay. Okay. Well, again, I'm Latanya, and you can actually follow me on Healthy Village for You on Instagram. I have a website, which is www.wellnesschoicellc.net, where you can make comments. If you have questions, I'll be willing to discuss with you any issues that you're having. Also, I can give you resources on things that you're concerned about. We do have a pediatrician that's on our team. We have a massage therapist, a reflexologist. So if you're looking for another way of healing and trying to get rid of stress, just reach out to me again on my website, which is wellnesschoicellc.net. I'm also an author. Simple Changes for Your Healthy Mind and Relationships, which has been number one on, well, you can't see it, but it is number one on Amazon.com, part of the healthy journey that I was sharing with you all earlier on how I was able to heal my body through food. And we do have a garden here that was available to a lot of our neighbors before, the pandemic started. And yeah, so you can just reach out, call me, or whichever, and I'm willing to help and share information.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Miss Drea, tell us how can people reach out if they wanted to you.
Oh well, you can find me at the Herbal Genesis on Instagram and Facebook. And like I said, I do a lot of advocating, birth work, herbs, and just holding space for people.
Shout out to the doulas. Shout out to the doulas. We out here. Yes, y'all. So make sure y'all tap in and go follow each and every one of these great panelists today. Shout out to them for joining me for this conversation. Shout out to community. I'm gonna be honest and tell y'all like this, real stuff. When I was about to do this show, I was like, no one bit. Like nobody was coming through. I was like, oh, nobody wants to do this show. But these two ladies, shout out to Drea, shout out to Latanya, they was like, nah, we got some folks. So wait a minute, hold up. I got this, I got that. And Carmen was like, yeah, let's go. So again, shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all being in this space.
Thank you for having us.
Whew, I'm taking it all in, y'all, because this is it. This is it until
Yes.
December. I cannot believe that we have literally went through 3 seasons, y'all. This is like, woo, man. I am so like, I'm just like grateful. When I started this, never thought that I'll be doing where it is now and where I know it's going. Okay, the vision is clear. So again, y'all, make sure y'all tap in. Make sure you follow us on social media to keep up with us as we take our break. I will be trying to drop some gems in between time for those who listen to us on again the podcast platforms. And if you don't listen to us on Spotify, Apple, and Google, definitely go because you're missing out on our community storytelling segments, and they are some sacred great stories that I get from community members. So I need y'all to tap in that space as well. So make sure you follow the Hood Talks podcast across the board so you don't miss out on all that we do. And if you want to support the work that we are doing, definitely make sure, again, you go and donate at thehoodconnect.org. That's the hood with a DA connect.org. Okay. It's for those who are watching, it's right here on your screen. And on that note, y'all, we out.
All right. It was inspiration.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and also follow us on all our social medias. And you can find all of that information at www